Hi, Mr. Washington. Good afternoon.
How you doing?
We're here again to discuss your and evaluate how you are proceeding along with dealing with the anxiety levels that you were experiencing related to both working and taking classes at the same time. Before we begin today's session, again, please note that anything that we say today in the interview is kept in as confidential, and I won't release anything without having your written permission to do so. And if at any time you need to take a break during this interview, please let me know, and we will pause and take a break and then resume afterwards. And if you have any questions in between the questions that I'm going to be asking you today, please feel free to speak up. Okay. So, just overall, how have you been since the last time we had our session?
I've been okay.
Oh, that's good. That's great to hear. Now, Mr. Washington, why do you think you had a problem with adjusting to working and taking classes at the same time?
It's kind of sort of like if you put things on your plate, you like to finish them on your to-do list in order to coordinate my lifestyle and the changes that I would have to go through. It became a very troubling thing because I didn't know how to predict anything that would happen.
Okay. Now, would you have changed anything in order to balance the two?
So far, with the help and the guidance that you've given me, I wouldn't. It was very helpful.
So the utilization of the different resource agencies that I referred you to, as well as the 211 United Healthway hotline, those things have been effective in helping to address your issues?
Yes.
That's great. Now, what is another way you may have handled your situation?
Without receiving the information about resources in my community, I may have had to drop some things or change some things or curtail challenging going forward until I adjust. And in the past, that has cost me time and progress.
Okay. Now, how is it different today? That is your anxiety level versus when we first started our sessions.
Well, before I didn't know how to wake up with a plan because I didn't know all the resources that was available. Now it's like I can plan things a little bit more better and get things done.
Okay.
Check off things on my to-do list very efficiently.
Okay. Can you give me some examples?
As far as like coordinating transportation, be able to get my kids together so they can be able to keep their schedule, and I don't have that to worry about, and then I concentrate more on the things that I have to do, such as my studying and work.
Okay. Now, what sort of impact do you feel that these sessions have provided for you?
Well, with the progress that I've had, even though it's minimal right now, and I'm still in school and things like that, it's able to me to progress on my job and help benefit with my paying my bills and managing my money as well as my time.
Okay, that sounds great. Now, how did you decide on your current plan or goals in addressing your issues?
Well, I learned to put all my irons in the fire, and it just weren't sitting in there. They all had a pointed outcome as far as I was concerned, because I had learned more about the resources. And as I went to one, maybe they weren't ready for me, then I would call another, and always kept myself accessible to those resources.
Okay. Now, what are your intentions with finding additional resources to help with this situation?
Well, I do a self-evaluation of what I have done and what I need as well as that, because the best answer you can get is from the best questions you can ask. And I've learned to do that on different levels as far as my progress.
Okay, that sounds great. Now, what is the connection between your anxiety levels with your work schedule and your class requirements?
Well, my levels have not really changed as far as I've always tried to be even keel, but it was like I said, pointless at that point because I didn't know which way to turn, and then I would get more confused and I would flustered because I didn't have the resources available to me.
Mm-hmm. What in particular of the resources that I've given you has truly worked for your situation?
The United Way, because the way that they're set up is if you call and you represent your thing, there's like a networking system within that organization,
Mm-hmm.
which Intel allows me to have networking with my resources.
Okay, that's great. Now, what is the best thing to have come out of this self-evaluation process?
As if I'm going into social work, so it allows me to be able to empathize and organize other people's lives with the things that what I have identified as problems in my progress trying to achieve what I achieve. I also learned how there is different levels of ethical behavior as well, and that's helped me also.
Okay, that sounds great. Now, how do you feel when you have had a good balanced day versus a high anxiety level day?
A good day. I kind of try to not take them for granted because they're so far and few and in between. But the high stress days, I've been able to manage them, and I know that I have resources. I just have to have the confidence to address them with the resources that I have.
Would you say that you shy away from addressing those issues, or you try to tackle them head on?
Well, I tackle them head on now. I was because I didn't know. It's like you have a package and you don't know what's inside of it. But now I have the confidence to look inside and pick and choose what it is that I need.
So it sounds like you've identified some triggers that lead up to you having high anxiety level days.
Yes, I've done that, and I had to evaluate managing those because a lot of them were like false triggers. I just allowed myself to be frustrated, and that was like the ignorance of not knowing what resources and how to go about it, and then being more people friendly as far as like me. That was a personal type of thing.
Okay. Now, if time and money were not an issue, would you continue to take classes and work at the same time, or would you give up one?
Well, I found that enriching myself as far as like keeping myself mentally prepared and emotionally prepared and physically active and improving my life. The empowerment that I got from all of this, I couldn't trade it for the world.
Okay. This will conclude our interview for today. I thank you for your time. But before we end our session, is there anything else that you would like to add to or suggest in terms of what we can accomplish with our next session that we will have on this?
I would just like you to know that like I said, the confidence that I've gotten from all of the help that I've gotten would help me be able to aid people. And I can't wait to really like see things in a different light than I did before, so that I can pass it on and help other people.
Okay. Thank you again, Mr. Washington, for your time today. And until next week, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a good day.
You too. Okay, that concluded my interview today with Mr. Washington. And I did ask him if he had any additional questions or concerns about our interview today. And He did provide suggestions for our next meeting, which is great. And it seems like he is improving and taking the correct steps to meet and exceed his plan of treatment and goals. Thank you.